Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon. Depends where you are staying right now. Thanks a lot for joining our cool and new webinar. And today we'll talk about the Power BI integration with Microsoft Information Protection capabilities. My name is Chen David, and I am from the Azure Information Protection Customer Experience team. Hosting today, Denis Mizetsky, a senior PM in Azure Information Protection team, and Anton Fritz, senior product manager from the Power BI team. Today we'll be discussing on an urgent topic where Power BI is one of the main tools to aggregate information and have visualization of an important information. It holds sensitive information. We all know and aware of it. And today we are bringing announcements or showing you the capabilities around what can you do to protect this information better. Dennis, off to you.
Thank you, Hen. Anton, can you please switch to the next slide? Then some of these slides are going to be a bit, known to MIP people. As you know, the data is exploding. We create a tremendous amount of data. Just in fact, 1.7 megabytes data is created every second in 2020, and 90% of data that was created that we have now in the world was created actually in the last 2 years. Next slide, please. The data is not only created in abnormal rates, it's shared, it's copied, stored in different places. We no longer can, protect data at rest and be sure that it's not leaked. Data will be everywhere, and that's why we should ensure that data is properly classified, labeled and protected as close as possible to data creation. And this will ensure that it doesn't matter where data goes, the data will be secured according to your organizational policy. Next slide, please. Then we started this labeling, classification, labeling, protection story about 4 years ago with AIP. And in the last 2 years, we invested a lot of efforts in bringing these classification and labeling capabilities in our productivity suite. We're in pretty great shape now in Office 365 with built-in labeling coming in Office applications on all platforms. We have a good story for on-premises using AIP Scanner. We have great coverage for cloud services using Microsoft Cloud App Security, and we're building more and more into Office 365 services. The next most natural step for us was to start thinking about structured data and about business applications. And this is where we found a great partnership with our friends in Power BI, which is part of Power Platform. And this was actually the first big integration with non-productivity or non-office application. And the main reason for this is actually because Power BI behaves as a hub for most sensitive data that you have inside your organization. Next slide, please. And in Power BI, you can get information from so many sources, and this is just the example of where the data can come to Power BI. It can come from structured data like databases or Azure blobs. It can come from other services in Power Platform. It can come from CRM systems, from Office 365, SharePoint, third-party online services, Salesforce, whatever you have. I think you have 300 or 400 different connectors to connect your data into Power BI. And the great thing about Power BI is democratizing the access to this data to regular end users. Like, you no longer need to be a SQL DBA to create some reports. You can use Power BI as a regular user, create your own dashboards and reports, and share it with other people, which actually allows your business to run much easier and much more efficient way. But with this, we also bring a security concern here. Next one, please, Anton. Then most of you take care of your structured data or of your data sources in a pretty good way, secure databases and online services and Azure storages or third-party storages. Most of these platforms either have a built-in security or data protection means, or you implement some third-party tools. But now when we come to Power BI, next one, please. We rely on Power BI service to secure this data. And we have a great story there with access managed by Power BI service, sharing control, and so on. But when we come to the end users, the next natural step for them will be create their reports and share their data. Sharing can happen inside Power BI platform, or it can happen when we extract the data from Power BI in a way of files, and then we share these files. Then this is where most of customers saw a problem. Like, we secure data in the source, we secure data in consumption inside Power BI, but once the data leaves Power BI, there is a problem. And this was the main scenario that we wanted to target at day one with Power BI, to ensure that once the data owner told this data is sensitive, we will take the MIP, Microsoft Information Protection capabilities, and inject them into this Power BI artifact. And from this point, all the data taken from this Power BI artifact will become labeled and protected using same organizational policy as if it was a regular Office file that was created and labeled. Now I'm handing over to the hero of this integration, Anton, who led most of work here, and he will walk you through the scenarios and on what we plan to do in next half of the year. It's yours, Anton. You're on mute.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for the reminder to unmute myself, and thank you very much, Hen, for organizing this. So it's a really great pleasure for me to be here today and share with you what we built with Microsoft Information Protection in Power BI. And so let's get started. So from Power BI perspective, Power BI is really becoming a central BI solution in many of leading organizations. And the same questions that the administrators and data owners ask about other enterprise products, they start ask and demand from Power BI. So administrators want to ensure that the data is protected, as Dennis mentioned. Data owners also want to have a really easy way to share the data, because it's all about collaboration today, digital collaboration. So they want to have a simple way to share the data with people in their organization. And there are also requirements for oversight. Where is my sensitive data? Especially when an organization migrates their data to cloud, this becomes even more critical question for the organizations to answer in order to enable some of the cloud migration projects. And there is a lot of privacy and regulatory requirements like GDPR and other regulations that organizations require to apply to abide, that they need the tools that we did not have before in order to be compliant. So this is the point that we started from. And like with Power BI being part of like being in Microsoft and being part of the E5 offering, it was only natural for Power BI to join forces with really world-leading cybersecurity solutions that Microsoft has. And the first one would be like the sensitivity levels. So now the data owners in Power BI, so when you create a report, Power BI is really a world-leading tool to create reports and dashboards and to visualize your data. So now it's really easy to classify the data using the same taxonomy that is used in other places and organizations, in Office files, SharePoint, Teams, and more solutions that adopt this technology to classify and protect the data. And the other thing that is really important for our customers is actually protecting the data when they export it. So it's really awesome when the data is in Power BI. We have all the controls to control who can access the data in Power BI. But when the data is going outside of Power BI, we want to enable organization to control it. And now we can do it with file encryption settings that can be defined in for the sensitivity labels. And when the data is exported, the same settings are applied on the file. And the last thing is visibility to Power BI admins. So this is now with the sensitivity labels being out there, we enhance Power BI audit logs, created reports that provide the administrators with full visibility of whom accessing sensitive data and other activities that are being done with it. And GA. So actually, like everything is out there. We are going to officially announce GA in a few days. So if you go out to Power BI portal, we'll already see the GA bits there. So, and the best thing is actually the demo. So let me go to the demo. So this is a Power BI new look, and I'm in my finance department workspace. Here I can see the different reports and dashboards that I have in this workspace. So now you can see also the integration with sensitivity labels. So here, this sensitivity column, I can see the sensitivity label. I can see the info balloon for it. So it's pretty integrated into the product. And here I have a finance report that I created. And now as a report owner, it's really easy for me. I go to report settings and scroll down to sensitivity label settings. And here I can see all the sensitivity labels that I can apply on content available here in Power BI. So I will just classify this report as highly confidential internal only. So the classification is done immediately. And now, so like really big scenario in Power BI, so you create report or dashboard and you share it with everybody. So some reports get hundreds and even thousands of people that can consume them. So now the highly confidential labels that we just applied is appearing on the header of the report. In the details also, people can see what is the sensitivity of the data, which is pretty awesome. So people already can be conscious about the sensitivity of the data that they consume. And one of the most popular scenarios for people who consume data is actually to slice it and dice it a bit more. So a lot of people really like to export the data into Excel and just analyze it more, merge it with other data, etc. And with MIP integration, what we can now offer our customers is the ability to actually label and protect the files once they're exported. So if you saw, there was an RMS screen there, and this is the file that I just downloaded, and it's already classified with the same label that was applied on the report in the service. Not only that, the document contains permission policy. So this sensitivity label has file encryption settings, and Power BI using MIP automatically applied these encryption settings on the Excel file upon export. This capability is also supported for not only Excel, but also when you export data to PowerPoint and PDF files. So, can you see the deck?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes, we can.
Thank you. So sensitivity. So we just saw how sensitivity labels are available and can be used in Power BI service, but not only there. So Power BI has the world's best BI mobile application. So it's like by far more popular and highly rated than any BI competitor. And the sensitivity levels that applied on the report and dashboards are also visible when you consume the same reports and dashboard in Power BI mobile app. So like lots of executives really love the mobile app and use it for updates each morning. And now they can see the sensitivity of the data and the sensitivity levels when they consume the app. Another really great enhancement is for our administrators. So Power BI administrators first get the visibility over the content in Power BI, how it's classified, so they can see how many dashboards classified with which labels, reports, data flows, data sets. Like Power BI has various artifacts. So all this information is now available in really nice admin report. Power BI, for those of you who are not familiar, using M365 audit logs. So we write the audit logs that are available in Security and Compliance Center and M365 Security and M365 Compliance, etc. And now these Power BI audit logs also contain the sensitivity level information. So if I open the report that has a highly confidential sensitivity level, it will be audited, and admins can explore these audits and build various reports on top of them. And also, we joined forces with Microsoft Cloud App Security in order to provide really easy access for Power BI admins to Microsoft Cloud App Security. So in Power BI admin portal, in this protection metrics report that you can see on the screen, there is a direct link that will enable Power BI admins to jump into Cloud App Security portal and view Power BI events. This is assuming that the organization is using Cloud App Security.
So Anton, everything that we are seeing here today is basically stretching the known labels that the end user, our end user, already familiar with the interaction with Azure Information Protection and Microsoft Information Protection, and extending it to Power BI and to the Power BI artifacts.
Exactly. So one of the main things here, and this is a great point, so we are connecting Power BI into the infrastructure that is used by the organization. So now many almost every big organization use Microsoft Information Protection, using sensitivity labels, or using Cloud App Security. And they got a lot of value from these products for Office and other applications. And now Power BI is really there as well. So the security admins get the visibility that they used to have for Office, for example. Now they can get it for Power BI. And for the information workers, the people who create reports, consume reports, if they had a training about how to handle highly confidential data when they see it in a file or in any other place. So this is the same label that they can familiar with, now available in Power BI. So it's all connected now.
Awesome. Thank you, Anton.
So I will continue a bit more. So near-term updates. So all that I showed you now is available. You can try it out now. All is there. The few new capabilities that that are lighting up in the next few weeks are, one is inheritance on creation. So if you remember the slides that Dennis showed a few minutes ago, where the data is flowing from sources to Power BI and then outside of Power BI. So in Power BI itself, we also have sort of like a layer, so you can create a data set and build on top of its reports. And one of the most requested features is by Power BI administrators and the security administrators was, hey, if somebody classifies some data set, which is sort of like a DB for the data, or a report with a certain label, if somebody else will building a new dashboard using this report or a new report based on this data set, we want the label to be applied automatically, inherited. So this is something that will be rolling out in the next few weeks. And this is just one of the first capabilities that we are going to deliver in this inheritance space. Our end goal will be here to get the end-to-end inheritance. So the sensitivity label that is applied on source will be able to travel to Power BI and be travel after when data is exported outside of Power BI. So this is very exciting for many of our customers. Another new capability that is rolling out also in the next few weeks is using sensitivity labels in Power BI Embed. So Power BI is really a popular platform, and many organizations want to leverage this platform to embed Power BI reports in their productivity apps, in their SharePoint sites, in the custom apps that they build for their organizations. So they leverage Power BI embed capability, where you just can paste a link and add Power BI report into your SharePoint site. And now the sensitivity labels that are applied on the reports are also going to be visible in the embed experience, and the protection on export to Excel, PowerPoint, PDF will be also applicable when data is exported from Power BI embed visuals. So how to configure? So first of all, you need the unified sensitivity labels. So this is probably one of the advantages of moving to unified sensitivity label platform. You will get the sensitivity labels in Power BI. So the same labels that are published to Office apps are going to be available in Power BI. And then in Power BI itself, Power BI admin will need to turn on the switch to turn on the sensitivity labels within Power BI itself. And the Power BI admin, so one of the things that we heard from our customers that they want like to try it out, to have sort of gradual rollout of the feature. So in Power BI admin can configure in the beginning a certain security group or certain number of users that can try out the sensitivity labels, assess them, and before turning it on for the entire organization.
Great capability, definitely, to allow a gradual deployment for such capabilities for testing purposes. Amazing, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and the last thing, so license. So sensitivity labels are requiring license. So you would probably need you will need some Azure Information Protection P1 or P2 license, which is available in various bundles, Microsoft E3 or higher, or Microsoft AMS or higher. And like for Power BI, you don't need additional license in Power BI for the sensitivity label. So any license that allows you to use Power BI today will enable you to use the sensitivity labels if you have this license.
And Anton, there was a few questions on the chat actually. In addition to licenses, what rights do you need to apply labels or to change labels on Power BI artifacts?
Oh, so great question. So I would just jump back one slide. So in addition to license, like Power BI admin has to include you. Like if the ability is open to entire organization, then the person who has a license can apply the label on any content that they have permissions to edit. If Power BI admin opened as a feature only to specific users, so only these users will be able to apply the label.
Great, thank you.
So any more questions before? Okay, so this was like the really high level overview of sensitivity levels in Power BI. Another really great integration that we had in the past year is with Microsoft Cloud App Security team, which are like Microsoft CAS. And basically, I think the audience is here familiar with MCAS, so no need to present it too much. But like things that are now available and worth calling out in Power BI. So you can leverage Microsoft Cloud App Security real-time controls in order to monitor the sessions in real time. Like if user connects to Power BI from unmanaged device, one of the things that you can do is define the policies that will maybe prevent download of sensitive data to unmanaged device. So this is something that happens all the time. So if it's fine for me to connect to Power BI and consume Power BI in web because it's secure, this is fine. But if I'm connecting from unmanaged device, my organization might want to prevent download of highly confidential data to this unmanaged device. And here we can also see the 1+1+1 between Power BI sensitivity labels and MCAS, because you can leverage sensitivity labels to define this policy and like according to the label define which data can be downloaded and which not. In addition, there are like a few additional anomaly detection alerts that are now available on Power BI activities, like multiple share report activity. If somebody like starting to share reports more than they usually do, you will get an alert. You have suspicious Power BI report sharing. Here we leverage machine learning and some classification of what report name can be considered sensitive, and if somebody shares it with external users, your security admin will get a notification alert about this in Cloud App Security Portal. And like what I mentioned before, the custom real-time policies download is one of the example, impossible travel, and lots of more like really great capabilities that Cloud App Security has for any Microsoft application now available for Power BI.
This is beautiful to see the connection between all the moving parts, all the solutions looking to the same repository and the same labeling taxonomy. If it's Power BI, if it's MCAS, if it's Microsoft Information Protection, or all following the same logic of labels and enforcing the needed actions. Beautiful to see.
Thank you. So I think like if you have like a few more minutes, just like what's coming next. So just to share some exciting capabilities that are coming now. So what we hear, like a lot of like Power BI customers use Excel for analytics, and one of the really growing capabilities, like people want to do more, is actually to connect directly to Power BI data and like analyze it in pivot tables. So now when what we just released to insiders is the ability to inherit the sensitivity labels from Power BI dataset when you connect to it from Excel. So when you do live connection from Excel to Power BI, the dataset sensitivity label, if it was highly confidential, will be automatically applied on the Excel file. Really cool, really strong. This is like, we continue the end-to-end inheritance. So this is like another path when you export data from Power BI. It's classified and protected. Another thing that we'll continue expanding. So Power BI has Power BI services like the main consumption vehicle for Power BI reports and dashboards. Power BI has a Power BI desktop application, which is a more popular tool for authoring datasets and reports. We are now working on integrating sensitivity labels into Power BI desktop. So creators will be able to apply sensitivity labels and protection on PBIX files when they create new reports. So this is a really great value, also very highly anticipated by Power BI customers. And the last thing that I want to mention is the inheritance themes that are coming for all over the place. So we will invest in additional label inheritance scenarios with Power BI, so to make this thing smarter when you build new content in Power BI, to be more effective in how you apply sensitivity labels on the connection to the new data. And also we are working on being able to bring sensitivity labels from Azure Synapse Analytics. So they're also like starting to invest in this scenario. So once we have MIP sensitivity labels in Azure Synapse Analytics. When Power BI will connect to this data, we will know how to bring these labels and apply on Power BI content. So more or less, people will get sort of like end-to-end classification and policies between data source, Power BI, and Office. And this is just a summary of all the things that we talked about. So what in it for you? So first of all, one place consistency to manage policies, both for Office and Power BI. This is really awesome. Oversight over sensitive data. So the security admins will now have much more easier life oversighting sensitive data in Power BI, because it's connected to the same portals and the same systems that they already use to monitor and secure other products. Data owners can more easily protect their content because they can easily apply the sensitivity label within Power BI, and when data is exported, the protection policy is applied automatically. It makes it easier to meet many privacy and regulatory requirements, because we have the auditing, the labeling, and additional capabilities that will come after. And we are integrating with the world best cybersecurity products. So Power BI is the leading BI product, and now it's connected to the leading security product. So this is like when you if you already use these products, or if you want to enhance your security capabilities and data protection capabilities for Power BI, you can really use the best products in the world to do this. So this is all for me.
Great. Thank you, Anton. I would really like to thank Anton and Dennis for joining us today and walking us through this amazing integration. We really heard a lot of requests from customers talking about Power BI as the holy grail that holds a lot of sensitive information, aggregated information between different sources. This capability definitely takes a huge jump forward in security and making sure that the information is staying secure. So again, thank you all for joining us. We will post this this webinar later on online for later watch. Thank you, Anton. Thank you, Dennis. Have a great day, and it was a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you, Chen.
Thank
you, Dennis. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.